What is up, everybody? Welcome to the Smoking Tire Podcast. Today's episode is, as always, brought to you by Off the Record. We love Off the Record over here. They just got out another patron who emailed me to let me know that he got dismissed. That's like, I don't know. I think that's my favorite word in the English language, the word dismissed. It is just such a treat when you hear it from those people at Off the Record after they have gotten your case dismissed. What a great feeling that is. And we love Off the Record because they've been with us now for 3 whole years. Hit up offtherecord.com/TST or go to that Off the Record app and use code TSTPOD. If you get pulled over, if you get a ticket, Off the Record will set you up with a qualified attorney in the jurisdiction where you got pulled over. They are the most clutch people if you drive a lot. Man, it's good to have them in the back pocket. Again, offtherecord.com/TST or code TSTPOD, P-O-D, on the Off the Record app. Download it. It makes it so much easier to submit your ticket when you get one, which you inevitably will. They are here to help. All right, on today's episode, we got a lot going on. I went down to Atlanta and I sat in a ton of traffic. Hannah had a little whoopsie with one of her Japanese cars. Zach got me a gift that might get me sent to jail. And our pal Freddie bought a piece of junk at that auction and dropped it in my front yard. Plus, we're selling a really cool car on Bring a Trailer. And is Irwindale Raceway finally going to close? Let's talk about all of that and more. It's the Smoking Tire Podcast. Let's go. I'd love to have Bruce. I wonder how much it would cost to get Bruce Buffer to record that. With full-throated.
Probably enough for him to retire because so much of his business is going to, hosting fights, announcing? No, he just does the let's get ready, right? And then he goes and he's done.
I think, and then he's done. I don't think he has to do any
figured it out.
announcing.
And his brother does it now, too.
Yeah. I mean, share the trade because they trademarked that shit.
That's amazing.
What a fucking
genius.
What a scam.
Genius.
I mean, whenever I talk about something that's pretty genius and I say what a scam, a lot of people look at me like, that's not a scam. It's not what I meant. You know what I mean? There's like scams where you're like ripping people off, and then there's like the loophole in the matrix that you found to be super rich for doing one like little not significant thing. That's a scam. Yeah,
you're using a different definition, of course. It's like, wow, I can't believe that worked.
Yeah, that's what I mean. There's like, if you say like, oh, the 2 words, oh shit, those can be positive or negative.
Right.
That's what I mean by my use of the word scam. There's a good scam, whereas you found a way to do very well for yourself that is sort of like just goofy and easy.
It's like most people have to like go to work for 9 hours a day or whatever, and you're like, these guys walk on a stage and they say, "Let's get ready to rumble."
8 words, and then they leave. And they own the trademark to those 8 words.
They own boats, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. They probably have a VO booth in their yacht and could just fucking call it in from there.
Well, but I think the whole thing is they walk on stage and they go in this corner, this corner. If you just piped it in like on Zoom.
Yeah, but like you could license yourself. They could have a guy with a gravelly voice. They could hologram
in the future.
Definitely. The hologram thing never really took off, did it?
No, it was terrible.
It wasn't terrible.
It looked stupid.
I saw it in person. It was neat.
It's neat, but I think
if you're on mushrooms,
it ended its own career with Tupac.
It's the synthetic manual gearbox of performances.
It's funny because we have a question about that.
It lied somewhat convincingly.
But when they tried to go, we brought this person back from the dead, and you were like, everyone was like, get out. No, you're 86.
I was there for that.
Yeah, it's dumb.
It was not. People were fucking into it. It was neat.
I don't think they were into it because it didn't continue after that. The backlash was quite significant.
I think the company fell apart. I don't think that people determined that it was not fun.
Well, wouldn't the market determine whether or not the company would, work
out? Not necessarily. There's a lot of companies that make things that people like, but would collapse under their own weight of non-profitability.
The company filed for bankruptcy in 2012.
That was like the same year or maybe the year after Tupac. I think 2012 or maybe it was 2011 when I saw the Tupac Coachella. Can't remember if it was 11 or 12. I think it was 12. But like, it was cool, and it did sort of work. I mean, it worked enough to like make a cool spectacle. But like, there's so many companies that have government support or whatever that would not make it on their own. Find anything in there?
I don't know. It was a publicly traded company that went from $9 to 55 cents.
No, I'm guessing it wasn't because overnight the public decided that this was not what they wanted. I'm guessing there was some kind of problems at the company.
Maybe. If you know, drop a comment.
They didn't have something hanging in the office saying, "Is this good for the company?" You need to have that. No, we can't. It's been too long. We can't do Office Space jokes.
I just don't remember that.
Oh, yeah.
I remember the Bobs.
Lumberg. No,
Lumberg. What do you do here?
Everything you do, every decision you make, ask yourself, is this good for the company? It was very important. And they had that banner printed out on like dot matrix paper hanging across.
So it's like garbage. Yeah. Just printed in the largest font that'll fit.
Right. Anyway, here we are. I have put on a sweatshirt for what is, I think, the first time this year.
Oh, wow.
No, I wore a sweatshirt for the Spiders video, but it was cold and we had cars with no tops up there.
Yeah,
but
and then it got really hot.
And then it got really, really hot, which is probably what will happen today.
Bipolar temperature.
Yeah. It's a cruise show. People have been sending us things. The Delta pilot sent us those cards. This guy calls himself the Maker. I assume it's a him. This looks like the handwriting of a male. Does not look like women's handwriting. And made us these artsy cup holders, or coasters, and they're magnetic.
Oh, that's cool.
So they stay together in a stack.
That is smart.
Only one of the four they sent is car related. The other ones seem to be more Halloween and Thanksgiving related, but that's okay. Appreciate the thought. And this is our new tactile turn pen collaboration, which people really liked the last time around.
Yeah, I love mine. I do.
This one,
ooh, it's blue. This
is the new one. It's a blued gray.
Yeah,
it's meant to be gray, but it's got that sort of flamed blue look with the bolt action sort of thing, which is very fun to play with.
It is very fun, and it feels super solid.
Yeah, and it says the smoking tire down the pen clip. And this one, feel how light it is. Very light. That's a titanium.
That's way lighter than the one I have.
Yeah.
I have the steel one.
You have a steel.
And it's 3 times its weight.
Our last one was steel. This one is a titanium.
Wow, cool.
Yeah. So those are going to be exclusively for patrons. They will be, as soon as we have them to order. We're going to have real photos too. He's sending me.
No, this is good enough.
This is good enough?
Just me holding it up in front of an iPhone.
Yeah.
It's just on the gray side of like gentian blue.
Yeah.
It's cool.
I will, right?
Take it for a test drive.
Gel. I love me some gel ink. You know, gel ink
is easy for voting.
It's good for voting.
So well.
Good for voting, which everyone should have done already. If you're voting by mail, which we do, and gel is also better for writing checks. If anyone under the age of 60, other than me, writes
why is
checks.
it better? Can you not?
It's more fraud resistant.
That's good.
Harder to wash. Yeah, remember I had all them checks stolen.
Yeah.
Started writing in gel after that. Yeah. So I went to Atlanta to drive the new Cadillac Blackwing, as we talked about last. Oh, was that on the Pro Show? I think it was on the Pro Show. My favorite thing about the new Cadillac Blackwing is how many people spent 20 or 30 grand over sticker because they were so convinced it's the last one. Got to get it. Never again. They're going to make a couple thousand. That's it. And it's done. Totally done. And then it's like, oh, here's the new one.
I feel bad for those people, though. We covered on the Pro Show, but like the Durango thing, if they're told this is the last one.
Yeah, it's funny. I don't remember if they were told.
Or if it was
just sort of implied. But like, I was on the launch for that Blackwing. I don't.
What year was that?
Shit, maybe
2020?
2020? Maybe 21? I think it might have been 21. But but I can't talk about how it drives. It's embargoed until November 19th. So I'm sorry, but down at Atlanta Motorsports Park, which is a very interesting choice for a Cadillac Blackwing, because it is not a power track at all. It is a handling track that is extremely difficult. It's one of the most technically difficult tracks I think I've driven in a long time in terms of the nuances of it are incredibly tricky and technical. There's a lot of off camber. There's a lot of places where you have to go very, very fast in a very high consequence situation where you have to really push the car, and if it lets go and you fuck up, you're hitting like an oak tree. It's a cool track, like, don't get me wrong, and it's a nice place.
I remember it feeling almost like...
What did you drive there?
We filmed there a bunch of episodes of... what was this show called that I was on?
Proving Grounds.
No, we were there with Lee and Parker and everybody else. It was like the same group we were filming for Haggerty. I can't remember the show, but we had a bunch of high horsepower stuff there. I remember it feeling like you took Road America and then just squished it together.
Kind of, yeah.
You know, it's got a lot of crazy roller coaster stuff.
Yeah.
And then there's that big up, down, very short duration crest and then fall.
Yes.
Almost like Thunder Hill, but even shorter than that. And then you have this huge sweeper that's the one that transitions off camber.
Right.
So it's a lot of stuff in a surprisingly small area.
Yeah, it is. That's a very good. It's like if you took Road Atlanta or Road America and had the same elevation but shrunk it from 3.5 to 1.8 miles. So it's just, you wouldn't want to race wheel to wheel there. It's narrow.
Yeah, true.
It's narrow. There's like nowhere to pass. I mean, if you imagine racing in a 40-car field in that place. Like,
there's places with very little runoff because like the straightaway, you know, it folds back on itself.
Yeah.
And that right-hander, as you are not on the straightaway when you come back around, like if you oversteer a little too much there, you're hitting a wall.
Yeah.
And not too much space.
Yeah. It would be. I think it would be a great course for about a 300 horsepower car would be really, really nice there. I don't know. The overhead satellite view, I don't think gives a good account of the elevation. Maybe if you just pull up like just the photos.
But like this is what I'm talking about. Like this turn, granted it's a slow-ish corner,
yeah.
but you're going fast enough here, especially when we had a GT500. I mean, oversteer is very possible, and this
likely.
is how close the wall is. And then, like, this is a fast section, but it's pretty fun coming out hard braking. The
fastest sections, and I mean, I can't talk about the drive impressions of the car, but like they chose this track because, at least, I mean, the reasons they gave us is that everybody knows a Blackwing has 668 horsepower. So a track with a main straight where you can hit a $170 isn't going to teach anybody anything new about the car.
Fair.
They wanted a track that would push the limits of chassis dynamics in terms of negative G, off camber, really bumpy curbing sections that can upset the car, heavy downhill braking. I mean, stuff like that. Because it's not just a facelift, they now have this, what they call the precision package, which is a handling package, basically. And in 3 weeks, I can tell you how well it works. But I can say, they had Jordan Taylor out there, IMSA champion, lovely dude, very mellow.
Rodney Sandstorm.
Rodney Sandstorm.
Great dude.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so the very first thing we got to the track was, you want to go out with Jordan? And I hadn't been there in 10 years. And I was like, yeah, let's go. And this is a racing driver who drives like a fucking racing driver, and he had probably he told me he had done 100 laps of the track before I got there, and so he was going flat in places I absolutely would not dare, and part of the new thing in the Blackwing is the updated PDR, the data recorder, the onboard thing. And I don't I don't know where it crosses into the line of what I can say this thing will do, because it's drive impressions that are embargoed. I don't know if talking about technology, but I don't think it's a drive impression to say that the PDR is, let's see, I don't want to use words that describe my impression of it, but you can do 95% of what you can do with a V-Box in the car. Like from the car itself. It has all the capabilities that a V-Box would have. Is
this updated from C8 also?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's
cool.
it's new, and it's like super powerful, and you can do like it has like a driver coach built into it.
Whoa.
Which is really neat. And they I've never, I mean, how do you show this off to a bunch of journalists without letting them use it? Mm-hmm. And so I don't think I've ever been on a press launch where I was allowed to run open laps with telemetry. I've never seen that before. I've never seen them allow journalists to run a full-size track with a stopwatch. Like, that's not something that normally happens.
Right. It's the only way you can demonstrate what that does. Because we used that at the Spring Mountain School.
Yeah.
But you had to take the file and put it into Cosworth Toolbox.
Correct.
Which is super helpful. But if you can just do that in the car.
So
rad.
You can still have Cosworth Toolbox on an app or on a computer, and you can still do a little more with the desktop app than you can do in the car. You can go an extra level of detail, but almost everything that used to need a computer, you can now do in the car, including side-by-side video comparisons. So you can select your best lap and your third best lap and pull up the cameras and telemetry side by side, which is with audio.
That's what you can do in Cosworth Toolbox with C8, which is amazing. So the fact you can just do that in the car is incredible.
You do not, and you can see your telemetry, your throttle position,
and you can
steering.
sync it for. You can sync it to area or time.
Yes.
So you can either it's almost like they're out of sync if it's for time, but if you sync them per area, then they're going, okay, well, this lap you were 2 inches to the right, this one you're a foot left.
Yeah. So it can do that. It can do sector times. It can tell you the entry, G-force, and exit speed of individual corners, and it can do as you're lapping. It does real-time delta. So it takes your best lap and makes a ghost car.
Oh, like it pops up on the screen?
No, the literal ghost car doesn't come up on the screen.
Right, okay.
But a lap timer comes up and shows every section around the track. Wherever you are, it shows red or green versus your best.
Oh,
you
cool.
just
Instead
did
of
this
just
corner faster or slower than, and by how much?
That's rad.
0.16 green, 0.24 red, which is enormously distracting if you are trying to. But like the fact that they were letting us like use this.
But what I like about the sector thing, and is if you're working on going faster at a track. If you try to approach the whole track as one thing, it can be very hard. But if you're like, all right, this lap, I'm just working on these S's.
Yes.
And I'm just going to get those down. And you can watch that go green. So basically, you can go through the S's, then slow down, and then like look at your thing.
Yeah.
And then go back around. But if you're trying to read that sector time while trying to complete the next section as fast as possible.
Yeah, no, you don't want to do that.
Don't do that.
That's not good. But and the one limitation of it that I really thought they should have put in, but apparently it's very, very technically difficult, much more so than one might think, is to have the red-green delta in the heads-up display. Apparently, connecting shit to the heads-up display is like a whole other fucking ball of wax. It's like it's one of those things. It's also, I asked this knowing what I was gonna get. I said the camera's 4K, right? Nope, 1080. I asked that same question in 2019 at the C7ZR1, and they said that there wasn't a 4K camera that could withstand GM's durability cycle for working for like 10 years. Now, they didn't say that, but they said the amount of data that you'd have to process would be huge, and the trade-off for most people would not be worth it.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I had no issue with the resolution on the
No, I didn't either,
thing,
but it's like... It's 2024. Like, it's a 2025 model year car. Like, it's funny that hasn't.
But, I mean, we experience this when we film on the GoPros for podcast stuff. If we run 4K and it's a warm day, the thing overheats and shuts down.
Yeah.
So, I understand.
Yeah, but you know, they weren't letting everybody. They were letting everyone run laps and time them, but I think I was the only person that got to overlay my data with Jordan's. And so it was very interesting. You know, when you overlay your data with a pro, and it was the same car. It wasn't even like both Blackwings. Like we drove the same exact car, and so in the slower sections of the track, in the hairpins, our curves were identical. We were both finding that car's limit in those sections, but in the fucking big open sweeper onto the front straight, that is definitely the hairiest section of the track.
And a slight climb right here,
and also turn 2. He was 100% flat through from the 14 all the way until start finish, which is where you brake for turn 1. He was on the floorboard. 100% on the floorboard. The curve was plateaued.
Whoa.
And then he stayed flat all the way through 2 and only hit the brakes like about 10 feet before the apex of 3. And I was like, yeah, I can't do that. I can't imagine a scenario where I can do that. Like, not fucking happening. And he did it with me in the car too. So I was like, it wasn't just the curve. I was like, fuck.
Yeah.
But I kept up pretty good in other sections. But that's why they pay him to race at fucking Le Mans.
He's so good. He's so good fast. In everything.
Yeah,
it's so awesome to see.
Yeah. So I don't think I've given any specific driving impressions of the car there. But yes, there is a precision package now that you can get for that car, and you'll have a video of how it drives. It's gonna be like the RS3 video, where there's a street section and then there's a track section.
Cool. Okay.
And the amount of footage provided by Cadillac to bolster my work was limited. Okay. So there's not going to be a lot of drive-bys, but I do have the PDR file from Cosworth, so you'll be able to see. You won't be able to see my best lap because my in car and talking, I did that, and then I kept lapping, and I got better at the end of the day. And you can't do your best lap while narrating,
nope.
but you will be able to see how the PDR captures data and what it can do, which is pretty cool. And then the Cosworth guy, after my drive, I don't know if we'll probably stick it at the end of the video, but the Cosworth guy sat in the car and showed me, how everything else was pretty cool.
Very cool stuff. Well, maybe we'll put like the full PDR lap at the end of the video or something like that.
Sure. Yeah, we can.
Do that.
I mean, I also plan on using it as the forward-facing camera because it's a pretty good camera.
Oh yeah, of course. That'll be like intermittent shot.
But just like on
maybe.
Yeah. Well, I will have my best lap on the PDR. So you'll be able to, we could run that.
Well, but if
we can use the one that matches my talking bits for while I'm talking.
Yes.
But then at the very end, we can just show the raw lap that's my best.
Right.
I don't know if you'll be able to see the difference, but whatever. Yes, a manual transmission is still available. And when that car came out, it's 4,124 pounds. When that car came out 4 years ago, it was like 4,000. Oh my God. It is 1,200 pounds lighter than the M5. 1,200 pounds.
Insane. Yeah. Hybrid system. And hybrid plus all-wheel drive system. Even though, that's a lot of...
Dude, that's like a Formula One car on the roof. It's fucking...
Right. Well, remember I drove that RS3 Avant, RS6 Avant, and it was like 800 pounds lighter than the M5, and it does have all-wheel drive twin turbo V8. I don't know, those batteries. So, I mean, we know batteries are heavy, obviously, people, but man, I don't think we realize how heavy a hybrid system is.
Yeah. And fucking... Dude, I was in Atlanta for one night to do this. Guys, it's the holidays. Give someone you love the gift of a pair of Dylan Optics sunglasses. The Smoking Tire's first ever sponsor. Still around, still doing it. Give the gift of rad sunglasses. And when I mean rad, I don't just mean like cool looking, interesting, different, sexy, customizable. I mean actually for the wearer, it's the actual glass. Because people see me in my glasses and they ask to try them on all the time. And if you see me out and about and you want to try my glasses, you can. I'll let you. This is how you get your glasses stolen, Farrah. And then, but when they put them on, the first thing they always say is, "Oh, wow, it's so good from the inside out." It's not just an aesthetic thing, although they do look cool, but it's about how you can see when you're wearing them. They make it feel like HD life. The glass is really good, and I'm out in the desert driving around for hours and hours and hours, and without my Dylan Optics sunglasses, my eyes would just melt out of my body like Raiders of the Lost Ark. So if you go to thesmokingtire.com and you click on our link from our webpage to get there, we'll send you a free Smoking Tire shirt for every pair you order. Every pair is individually made for you. You can mix and match lens colors and frames and totally customizable, giving you a totally unique pair of glasses. So we love the people at Dylan Optics. Holidays are coming. Give the gift of amazing sunglasses. It's a good one. Now, back to the program. I spent far more time transiting than I spent driving the car. It was kind of frustrating. Fucking, if you live in Atlanta and I ever hear you talk shit about LA traffic, just punch yourself in the fucking face. I don't think people that live in
Atlanta talk about LA traffic negatively. I think they know. The traffic is very bad.
Atlanta traffic is so fucked. It's so fucked. Going through downtown, oh my God, what a nightmare.
Yeah. I've been there when it's very busy.
It's so bad. I fucking hate Atlanta traffic.
I do think, though, I've been there when it's moving quick. It seems like there are times of the day where more times of the day where it moves quickly than Los Angeles.
It is synced more to like commuting hours and shit, but it's not like New York where it's like busy going in and then busy going out. It seems to be an LA style where it's jammed both ways.
Right, yeah.
You know, like there is downtown, but there's not like a center where people work.
Right.
You know? But God, was it a fucking mess.
Well, in a way, like LA is actually, like LA the city is almost the midpoint between people going from OC and Redondo north to the valley and vice versa.
Yeah.
It's like people are passing through it and going to it.
Yeah, I mean, well, in LA, there is no center. So just people are going everywhere all the time.
But no one is going through Manhattan to get somewhere else, right?
Oh, no. For the most part,
it's like you go in, you go out.
Yeah. Atlanta, it all goes through the fucking middle.
Yeah.
And it seems like the airport is south of the city, but it feels like every other goddamn thing one might need to do is north of the city, and the only way is straight through. Fuck. The name of the town I filmed the road drive in was called Ball Ground, and I got some footage of the signs. So you can
BALL?
BALL space GROUND. Ball Ground.
Named after cannonballs, or
maybe, but I stopped to shoot beauty shots next to a sign that says "Original Trail of Tears route." So let's go, Georgia.
Wow,
fucking really, really doing it, North Georgia. Thanks.
Ball Ground. Town.
Ball Ground, historic downtown Ball Ground. Do you think it's where cannonballs hit the ground?
I don't know. This short Wikipedia just says it was originally Cherokee territory and then they were removed from the land. So maybe cannonballs were involved in that process. I don't know.
Yeah, and also the Trail of Tears.
Right.
Yeah, cool. Yeah. And now it's covered in Trump signs. So that's just and righteous. Mr. Zach Clapman, a very generous and thoughtful move as a friend, got me the thing I've been looking for fucking years, a TSA-approved multi-tool where you can easily and quickly remove the blade, the saw blade.
It's like the Gerber 600.
Yeah.
Has no blades other than this removable saw blade.
Popped it off in 5 seconds.
Okay.
Great, no problem.
And sent you on your way to Atlanta.
So excited. Trying to get selected for additional screening. I was like, I gave him that look like, I got something shady in here. Fucking look. I was so ready to be like, look what we have. On the way there, nothing. On the way back, the The case went to the other side of the glass,
Stops
and
on
I
the
was
thing,
like,
goes-
yes, I'm fucking ready. I can't wait to see this guy's face when he finds out how smart I am with my TSA-approved fucking shit. And I left it super visible, right on top of where the lav mics go.
Right,
So
you're
it's
like, I'm
sitting
not trying
there.
to get away with anything.
No, it's just it was just sitting there. You open the case and you just see it. And the guy he goes, what's in here? A drone? I go, no, it's a bunch of little camera stuff and accessories. And he opens it up, looks around, he goes, yep, bunch of cameras and accessories, closes the lid and leave. It was sitting right there. He stared right at it. He didn't say a fucking peep.
Great.
I mean, great, but like it could have had the fucking blade on it. I could have been bringing a knife onto the plane. He was there.
But maybe his screen shows all the layers, and they can go, I don't know. I don't know.
No.
Or he knows that one. Maybe he just knows.
Maybe he does.
It does look unique.
Maybe he's memorized the TSA approved.
Look, I'm very glad because you came in today and you're like, I have a story. And I've been worried about this since you left. I went, what if because someone online said that they can say if the tool allows you to permanently change the airplane, they can take it away, which is very broad.
It allows you to permanently
So like
change
they're like, oh, you're going to undo a bolt.
That is the most flexible definition.
It sure is. And I started thinking about that. I'm like, man, if they take this thing, like, you've tried so hard, I've tried so hard, and I went, I'm just going to give you a pair of pliers. Like, no multi-tool, because at the end of it, you just need something that will help you like undo the knob.
Yeah,
the knobs
pliers,
and things, right?
pliers, and a Phillips head screwdriver would really achieve the same results.
Yeah, so you need a short, but you can't bring a long screwdriver on the plane. It has to be like
a mini guy.
So you need a mini one. That's where we're headed.
But I know, but like the multi-tool, it's just
I'm with
good.
you.
I used it.
Yeah.
I used it while I was there to tighten the fucking Israeli arm.
Awesome.
It works. But it turns out you could probably just bring a regular one on the plane and get away with it because this guy didn't.
Maybe,
didn't know what he was
but
looking at.
eventually, but if you fly to Europe. Like, locking knives are not legal in some European country. Well, not
it's living in the case. We'll see how long. And if it gets confiscated, so be it. But got away with one.
I'm not buying you another multi-tool.
You already bought me two.
I bought you two.
You bought me one for the wedding as a groomsman
Which I was
gift.
like, it has a knife. It's not what you really need. And then I found this later, and I should have looked at this first.
It's okay.
But the other
still
one
a very
was
thoughtful
named.
gift.
So hopefully this works out.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's so funny. That's why I sent you the website. I'm like, you need to have this pulled up just so that if they say something, you go, but look it.
No, I wanted to show them the empty little thing where the saw connects.
No knife.
Yeah, and it's still a very thoughtful gift. Let's see. Hannah got rear-ended in the Delica while stopped at a light. No. Yeah, and she called me and she was very upset. And it turns out...
Did they hit the steel bumper? Do you have a steel bumper in the back?
There is a steel bumper in the back, yeah. And then when she sent me the photos, it's incredibly minimal. Like, it's... you hear rear-ended, and especially a 30-year-old van, you're going, oh, man, this is not going to be good. And, of course, the first thing is, are you okay? The structure of a 30-year-old van seat may not, hold up to a 40-mile-an-hour impact.
Oh.
It wasn't 40 miles an hour, but she just said rear-ended. She didn't, And it turns out, I think, the rear bumper, it didn't hit the steel part. It was the corner.
Okay.
Of the left side corner. So the rear bumper is actually three parts. It's the two corner sections and a center section. And the left corner section is damaged and needs to be replaced. The bumper, I think, could be the center section. It's only like a little bit. I think it could be massaged, sanded, painted, and fixed.
Remind me though, does the Delica have? Because the front it has the push bar thing. Off-road
Yeah,
bumper.
it has
that in the back too?
it has one on the back that's like just a single bar,
and it didn't hit that.
It didn't hit that, and it's about 2 feet in the center. This was on the corner on the side. Honestly, you almost can't even see. Like it's so small. I was so relieved when she sent me the pictures. Like, oh, thank God.
Because finding this bumper may be very hard.
I know where to get one. Mm-hmm. The last time I had to get a body panel for this car was in the height of COVID. We had to send who to fucking where.
Right.
Now
that was
at least
a door though, right?
That was a door.
Yeah.
That was a sliding door.
Yeah.
Now this piece is maybe 10 inches by 8 inches. It's not a big piece, so it's gonna like you could put it in the mail. Like it's not the end of the world, but like Hannah, she's now been hit while basically stopped twice in this fucking car, which is. But I don't want to. I don't want to make an insurance.
Blaming? Is that what you're doing?
Yeah, I'm saying. What were you doing there? Why were you at that light?
Fool me once.
What were you wearing?
What was the car wearing? That sucks.
Yeah.
What hit her?
She didn't say what kind of car it was, but she said, we can handle this outside of insurance, if you want. And the girl who hit her car was apparently like pretty fucked up, and she was like, I need insurance to handle this. So
okay,
whatever. But
that might be better because insurance might find out that this bumper costs way more money than like a local Honda Civic bumper because it's a rare thing.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I don't want to file a claim with our insurance. I mean, if it's her.
No, but like
hers,
imagine if someone hit the door on the Delica and they said, we can handle this outside of insurance. And you'd be like, I don't think you want to do that.
And then you find out the door is $6,000.
Right.
It's half the price of the fucking car.
Right.
But so that's, she's okay. Car's okay. All cosmetic.
Yeah.
It'll get fixed. But let's see. Oh, I have that green Turbo S we've got on Bring a Trailer right now. Can you just pull that up real quick? 2018 911 Turbo S. This is one of the fucking sickest 991s turbos you'll ever see. It has 40. That's it. It's got $45,000 in options in it, including $18,000 of special wishes options.
That's crazy.
And it's owned by one of our best customers. This is his cheapest car. Everything else he owns, it's the guy with Q1.
I know it is.
Yeah.
Wow.
Everything else he owns is incredibly ridiculous, and this was his daily for the last 4 years in LA. And
it's such a nice green.
Oak green metallic, PTS. It's got the interior is go down to the interior. The interior is so sick. The other photo's better. Keep going. That. So it's got houndstooth, fucking chocolate leather. It has extended leather on everything imaginable. The steering column, the sides of the center tunnel, everything you can imagine has leather.
This
on
is gentleman spec. I mean,
super
this is
gentleman.
oak green. With I think yellow calipers, which look good.
Yeah.
With the green and then the brown interior. This is so nice.
Yeah. White gauge faces, Burmeister, PDLS Plus, PDCC. Like, it's got it has basically every option. It's got silver side view mirrors from the factory. It also has a painted engine cover from the factory, which is apparently incredibly rare and hard to get. So if you want the fucking sickest 991 Turbo S out there right now, this is it.
Yeah, it's really, really nice.
It's also full nose to tail PPF, meticulously serviced.
Jeez.
And it's lived here when the owner doesn't live in LA. The owner, this was his LA daily driver. So it lives here in climate controlled storage at West Side, and he drives it a couple of times a month when he's in town for business, and we take care of it the rest of the time. It is so, so awesome. And I drove it to make the little video for Bring a Trailer. It drives unbelievably well. I mean, it drives like a 15,000-mile Turbo S should drive, basically like a new car. Yeah.
Man, it's so nice.
It's so nice.
This is fancy spec.
I know.
Tasteful.
I wish I had $170,000 for something like this, because this is you're not going to find another one like this.
Yeah.
It has all the goods.
This is just leather.
Yeah, there's leather on everything.
Where's the engine cover? Oh.
No, not that. It's the it's the top of that, like the top of the wing.
Oh,
it's normally black plastic, but this one is painted. There, look at the picture. That's it. Yeah. So those bits are normally black plastic.
That is definitely better body color.
Fully painted body color.
Request that if I was ordering one of these.
Yeah,
that's sick.
It's real expensive to get that. Super cool. That's fun. And then speaking of things bought and sold at auction, the photo I sent you, our pal Freddie, Tavarish. Fucking Freddie wanted to buy something from that Rudy Klein junkyard auction.
What is Rudy Klein?
The fucking auction, the RM auction downtown that had like the $9 million alloy gull wing, like the guy who had this junkyard of super rare collectible stuff.
Oh, okay.
Some of it's, he had like 3 or 4 Miras, you know, but like they're all trashed. They've all been sitting outside for 30 years, but people are spending 7 figures on like hulks of wrecks of cars.
You're buying the VIN and you restore it and then you take it to Pebble Beach, blah, blah, blah.
Whatever, yeah. And an alloy gull wing went for $9 million, which is triple 3x what a fully restored one sold for recently, which is insane.
That one's steel, right?
No. For an alloy car. A steel car is like $1.2 million.
Why would the shitty alloy go for 3 times?
It was the only one ever left the factory in black. It's not black now, right? But it left the factory in black, and it's never been restored. I mean, it's the only. I think it's like maybe one of the only alloy gull wings that's never been restored.
The car world does not.
It went for way too fucking much money. Right. I'm not justifying it. I think it's bad, but like that happened.
That doesn't make any sense.
So anyway, Freddie calls me yesterday and he goes, "I need a favor." And a Freddie favor is usually something funny. It's usually something very silly. He goes, "I bought the worst Audi Quattro on the planet from the Rudy Klein auction, and I need somewhere to keep it for a couple of weeks."
Oh my God!
And so I sent a flatbed for it, and we're gonna hang on to it until Freddie can figure out how to get it back to Florida. But he was like, "Yeah." He's like, I was like, "What are you gonna do with this?" He's like, "Well, I thought maybe I'd like fly out there, fix it there, and drive it to Florida." And I go, "Freddie, have you seen this car other than like one photo?" I go, "Dude, this car will take years to get running."
Yeah, the inside looks like there was a fire. Yeah, actually, I think there was.
There might have been a fire. The steering wheel does look actually melted.
It looks melted. There's wires everywhere. There's no dashboard. Yeah. I mean, there's no interior of any kind. Well, there's interior pieces stuffed into the interior. The license plate is in there. Huh. Wow. But it looks like there was a fire and extra sheet metal added.
Yeah, it's not running anytime soon.
Where's the there's the shifter.
The shifter is, you can see
this
it.
Was on fire.
Definitely.
This is just bare metal. Like the center console is gone.
If you've got a steering wheel that is just structural material with nothing over it.
There we go. Zoomed in a little bit.
That's fire.
This is fire.
That's 100% fire.
I think it originated here behind the horn button.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
It might be cigarette fire.
Is this carpet or metal?
It looks like metal, doesn't it?
Metal.
Or maybe some kind of like insulation material.
Look at this hard edge.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. You should tell him. Yeah, just come out and fix it. And again, film his face when he sees this thing.
But then he sends me the funniest text like 6 hours later. He says, "Does it have an engine in it?" And I was like, I actually don't know.
Yeah, we don't
because
know.
I haven't seen it. I didn't ask Phil when we set it down to South Bay.
He didn't ask before he bid on it, and he just hit the button.
Is there an engine? I don't know.
Wow, man.
I have no idea if there's an engine. I said I'd let him know today when I go see it. But
this is incredible.
Yeah, it's
bold move, Cotton. Oh my God.
But like, and look, whatever Freddie's plan is, I'm sure he has one. But it's not like it's like a short wheelbase S1. Like it's kind of just like the regular one. It's the long wheelbase. Oh, is it? No, it's not a short wheelbase.
I don't think so.
That's not a short wheelbase. No. That's a regular wheelbase. But like, I don't know. I don't know what
I think it's. I bought the cheapest
I bought the
Audi
cheapest
in the
car
world.
you could buy from the $1 million
exactly.
junkyard.
And it's like, well, what was it? It was like this hunk of thing. I mean, it's so funny. At the front fender, it looks pink, and the back is red. Like, I don't know if you can tell.
Well, because it was facing east in the junkyard.
The colors are very different. This thing was hit by a bunch of things.
Yeah, it's not had a...
Rust and objects. This person hit a pole.
Yeah, maybe. And then there was a soup kitchen in there afterwards.
Yeah, and then they lit it on fire to get rid of all the condoms and the evidence.
Yeah.
Not good.
Good times. I forgot to ask what he paid for it, but whatever it was, it was too much. If he
paid more for this than a running Audi Quattro, I will lose my mind. If they did the same math as they did with the alloy car.
Yeah.
Can you imagine? Like, but it's never been restored. This is the problem. It's never been restored. Look at this. Yeah, Provenance. This is patina.
Never been restored.
The patina is from the fire.
The gull wing, I for that much money, I mean, let's put myself in the position of someone who has $9 million to blow on a fucking a car that doesn't. I say it doesn't run, but I actually think it might run, like barely run. Like,
so this is the unrestored class. This is the success.
I think they might have started it. I think I saw a video of it.
I want to see a picture of it. Like, is the body straight or is the body?
It's pretty. No. It was not crashed.
Okay.
Yeah, just look up RUDI space KLEIN Rudy Klein alloy gullwing. Yeah, I mean that's it. It's complete. It's actually in pretty good shape.
It's funny that it left the factory in black, but now it's silver.
Yeah, it's been sitting, but it doesn't look like it was crashed, and I'm pretty sure I saw a video of it running. I think they did 26 of these. I mean, these are fucking rare. Really rare.
But it's just...
And it's not only rare, it's homologation for racing.
But it was more expensive than one that's running in better condition.
Yeah.
That's what
what's crazy.
Is melting my head.
Yeah.
I don't understand.
Interior is actually in very good shape. I mean, you could clean that and leave it alone.
You could. Larry Casilla could make this very nice, but I think you need a new left side shock.
But but I mean, one could easily put... get this thing mechanically running and leave the body alone.
Right.
And probably get a trophy in preservation class.
I agree. I think this might be an indicator that we're going to see this huge bump in value for unrestored cars because wasn't this year was the first year unrestored won at Pebble Beach. But and that's fine. I don't have a problem with a car winning. I have a problem with a car that is of worse condition being worth more money unless maybe there's a story we don't know where this was raced by someone and the other car wasn't,
Yeah.
So if I'm not doing apples to apples, let me know
Close
in the comments.
photo. Go back to the listing. Let's see if RM has anything to say. Oh, there's a lot. This is 26 going off the production line for only one of those in black,
Special
contrasted with red leather.
version.
I mean, let's see. Oh, it was delivered new to Luigi Chinetti. Okay, well, there's that. That's kind of important. It's never been shown. Yeah, wow. Oh, and it's only two owners. So it's only been owned by Luigi Chinetti and Rudy Klein. I mean, there's probably not a lot of those with fucking only two owners.
But does that matter for $9 million? It's got 45,000 miles on it. It's not 5,000 miles. I mean, those are driver's miles, which
it was driven. I mean, but especially considering it hasn't been driven in probably 30 years.
I'm sure there's something I am missing, and the people will yell at me in the comments, but this is just wild.
So look at the last sentence. The final unrestored alloy gullwing previously owned by Luigi Chinetti and the only one delivered in black. I mean, that is, and to RM's credit, calls it an unduplicatable story, which is, I mean, true.
Well, of course.
I mean, allegedly.
I mean, every story is unduplicatable because every story is unique. But I know what you're saying.
But if there's only one of these that's not been restored and it's in good enough shape where you could get it running without a full restoration.
And it was owned by a guy that won Le Mans.
Yeah. That's a pretty big fucking hammer. They made 29 new. Sorry.
It's the power of the story and power of marketing. That's really
Aside from paint, unrestored original interior, body, engine, gearbox, rear axle, steering box, and front spindles. Wow. I mean, do I think it's triple what a restored one should go for? No, but I get it. I mean, I get why somebody would want to have this. This is, they did 1,000 or so gullwings. They weren't. Gullwings are they're rare, but they weren't that rare compared to some other stuff.
There's fewer Enzos in the world.
Yeah. But
beautiful cars, obviously.
Oh, and they drive great. God, do they drive good. You could fucking daily one today. They're so easy to drive. It's no harder to drive than a 356 or a Beetle. Really easy. Light clutch, light steering, light shifter, especially if you have a convertible. Because the gullwings, those side windows, they pop out. So they're either in and closed or they're out.
Yeah, there's no up and down.
There's no up and down.
Right.
So the only bad thing about a gullwing is it gets fucking hot in there.
SoCal,
really
for sure.
hot. Yeah. So if you really want to drive it, you do want the Roadster. But yeah, Habibi. Do I have anything else? Hannah and I are taking a little vacation to Canada. We're doing one of those luxury train trips.
Cool.
But if any of our listeners don't email me, leave a comment in the YouTube video or maybe a DM on Instagram. Great hotels or great restaurants, great in Vancouver. Let me know. Got 2 nights to see what we've been to Vancouver, but
when are you guys going there?
January. Winter snow train trip. We've always wanted to do one of those. Should be fun.
Yeah.
Got the private cabin.
Yeah, that'll be rad.
The whole shit. Well, it's got the observation deck upstairs, the glass dome.
In your cabin also?
No, the each train car I think has 4 hotel room cabins, and then there's an observation deck where you go upstairs and it's the top level and it's a full dome.
That's pretty rad.
There's a private restaurant. Everything's included: food, booze, open bar the whole time.
It's a cruise, but it's a train.
Yeah,
that's great.
Yeah, and it's 2 days out, and then we spend a night out there, and then 2 days back.
Cool.
Which is the right amount of time. That's enough train.
Yeah.
They had ones relaxing. That are 16 days or something. I don't need to be on a train that badly.
Where does that go? Across all of Canada?
All the way across Canada. You can go Toronto to Vancouver or maybe Montreal to Vancouver. But if you do that one, you don't get off very much. I mean, the train stops for an hour or 2 in some of these places. So you do a lap around the block and that's it. So we didn't want to do the thing where we were stuck on. It was we were thinking about doing Toronto to there.
16 days of just sitting in a
That's
room.
a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
one of you would leave alive.
Yeah. So it's a 2-dayer and then a 2-dayer back.
That's cool.
That'll be fun.
Yeah.
But I'm looking for restaurants in Vancouver. Let me know. And last, I just saw a story this morning. It seems like Irwindale may finally be closing.
Finally be maybe closing.
I don't know. Every year for the last 10 years, Irwindale's been closing.
I think Forsberg drove a funny thing a week ago during FD. It was it's always been an honor to drive the final year of Irwindale every year.
Every year. That's the Cadillac. That's the Cadillac Blackwing of racetracks.
Yeah, race it now because it might not be there next year unless they can save it.
Yeah. Let's go to the Patreon. Of course, please, not trying to beg, but the show is better with Patreon. If you're a patron, you don't have to listen to ads. You get the show ahead of time. You get to ask questions. You get to check out the live stream. You get special invite-only merch collabs like our tactile turn pens or the Notice watches that all go to the patrons first. And you're supporting the show in a time of it's the holiday season right now, or it's coming up on the holiday season. We should be inundated with ads, and we are not. And I've asked our people what are we doing wrong? Why and he's it's not you. It's industry wide election shit. Everyone's holding on to and I'm just going, how does having fascism versus non-fascism versus neoliberalism change your ad spend for this holiday season? I don't understand why neoliberalism versus fascism is affecting your personal budget right now. I don't understand.
I don't know. We work at a very small company.
Yeah. So, but anyway, if you like this show and you want it to continue, you are a much more valuable and appreciated listener at any level of the Patreon, even the very lowest level, even the $3 a month joint. That's it's not a lot of money for some people. If it is a lot of money, I'm not trying to minimize that, but it's a big difference versus selling ads. Right. Let's see what the patrons have to say. Levi says, with the launch of the new Scouts, a lot of people are saying it looks mostly like a Rivian or Bronco. However, what about the take that the Rivian looks like an original Bronco or Scout? I don't buy that. I don't
think it does.
I don't buy that.
Yeah, I think the original Bronco has more hard edges. It's shorter. I just don't think they look very similar.
I don't either.
Yeah.
Other than they're square.
Neither. Yeah.
The Scout looks like sort of halfway between a Rivian and a Bronco. Mm-hmm. And I think that's sort of what they were going for. I mean, back in the day, the Scout looked like halfway between like a C10 and a Bronco.
Yeah,
kind
that's
of.
true. Yeah,
Although it may have come before the C10, but
and it was. I mean, it was a little rounder than the C10.
Yeah,
but I think we know that today a lot of cars look similar because there's a size that they can make them, and there's CFD, and there's all these other things. So I think they did a good job of making the Scout look different enough from everything else that's out there. I think it's a good looking design.
Yeah. I like the SUV one. The truck one, to me, still looks like a Rivian.
To me, I always just say the SUV because Scout in my brain, that's what it is.
But I need to see them in person because the sizes that Johnny was telling me, their dimensions, they seem huge.
Oh.
Like they actually, like the SUV, Johnny said, has the exterior dimensions of a Rivian R1S, but it's only a 2-row, not a 3-row, which would make it very big. And the truck is even bigger than a Rivian. The truck is like between a Rivian and like a Silverado.
I always look at an R1S and I just think of it as a 2-row car because it's got 4 doors. And I don't. To me, it looks like a good looking truck. It doesn't look like it has some sort of extended rear end for a 3rd row, so it works for me.
Yeah.
In terms of size and proportion.
No, it does. But like my ideal SUV would be downsized by 15% from that. Like. Hannah likes the idea of the R2 whenever that comes out, which is basically an 85% scale.
Size,
yeah. Although it seems like Ford just idled its Lightning plant.
I know.
Yeah.
Because of bad sales.
Yeah. So like that could be good for me. I might be able to pick up a Mach-E. I don't want a Lightning.
I was going to say.
It's too big. No, it's too big. But I might be able to pick up a leftover Mach-E at the end of this year for fucking nothing. I don't know if the Rally's going to have the discounts on it. I mean,
this is when America's lack of interest and knowledge in rallying in general may help you.
Maybe. Yeah, maybe nobody wants the white wheels or something.
Because like back in the day, the Camaro Rally Sport was like the cheapest one, right? Or the second cheapest one. Yeah. So maybe people are going in and going, I don't want the Rally. That's the cheap one. I want
I have not seen. I don't know if deliveries have started yet, but I have not seen a single Mach-E Rally on the street other than the 2 LA press cars. So I don't know. I'd love a Rally, but if it's $400 a month for a rear drive or $600 a month for a Rally, I'm not spending $200 a month for a Rally. Let's see. Clapman's freshman dorm bed. With Hyundai and Honda now doing simulated gears in EVs, do you think we may get a simulated manual in an EV at some point? Is that something you think you would want? I wouldn't want it.
I think it'd be very silly.
I don't. I would rather. I mean, I like the simulated gears in an EV with paddles. Mm-hmm. I do like that because I do think it allows you to. I've said why I like it a million times, but I don't think we need to fake a clutch. Like a literal clutch pedal.
It would have if it was. I think if it was executed perfectly, with the same accuracy as the Ioniq 5N, I would probably enjoy it. But it's not something I have. It's not something when I got out of the Ioniq 5N, I went, oh, I hope they can do that with the manual.
Yeah.
It just, the paddles work well enough. It kind of fits the powertrain for me. I don't think I need the fake clutch and the fake revs and all that other stuff. But if it was done super well, I'd probably drive it and laugh.
And the thing is, if you think about what would necessitate a fake manual transmission, that would be 100% EV. Honda or whoever, if their lineup was had to go 100% EV across the board, then a fake manual is better than nothing. But you know what's better than that? Their regular cars going EV and having a real manual gasoline-powered sports car that's sold in small volume and is still somewhat fuel efficient and still clean, but is a real manual.
Because also, if the take rate on manual transmission cars, non-enthusiast models, tend to be very small, I can imagine that the take rate on an EV simulated manual transmission would be even smaller. So
the
it'd be really hard for them to
take
justify
rate
that.
on gasoline-powered sports cars offered in manual is very high.
I know.
Not a drive impression, but all Blackwings, 65% take rate in manual.
I think it was the same with was it GRs and just if the car's an enthusiast car, more people are buying manual.
Yeah.
But I think if you have an EV, can we convince people that a specific EV is an enthusiast EV, and then convince them that buying the manual version of that is the better thing? I don't know. I mean, the future will tell. A company is surely going to try it. I think they will.
Yeah, I mean, the what Hyundai's done works really well because it doesn't require a lot of like hardware changes.
Yeah.
You know, you can make the thing behave a certain way with computers, and so it's the same bit of hardware but like with a new functionality from software. You don't have to make room for a shifter. You don't have to develop a 3-pedal box.
Right.
You don't have to simulate the feedback of a clutch pedal. I mean, that's hard stuff.
Well, you know what they'll do? They'll probably just hire someone from sim
video
racing
game
hardware, because that's what it'll be. I mean, the shifter in a sim thing is not shifting anything. It's all just activating buttons.
Sure.
It'll just be that.
Yeah. But like, you know. Dan M., who has the best, most accurate, and most useful TPMS output? So there, what did I just drive? The Pagani Utopia has the Pirelli like smart tire where there's chips and shit in the tire. And on top of a traditional TPMS where you get pressures, you also get temperatures, which you get in other cars like Ferrari, Porsche, Cadillac. They can do temperatures too. But the Paganis, it's called the God, stop with the word cyber.
The cyber tire.
Fucking, we determined in 1995 that the word cyber was cringe. Why is it fucking back?
I think it lasted a little longer. I think there was like Swordfish. Any movie that had hacking in it, they were still into it. The only
acceptable use of the word cyber is if it's followed by the word security. That's it. Anything else is cringe as fuck. There's a new Blackwing.
What if the cyber tire offers better security, Matt?
The color, I didn't say it in the video, and I wish I fucking did. The car I drove on the street yesterday was the new Blackwing in cyber yellow, which is a forced use of that word. Nothing about this yellow is related to computing. Nothing.
Yeah, that's true.
They just forced the word.
For you.
GM Performance, great job. Fucking other people at GM sometimes have their heads up their fucking asses.
I hope they named that color for you. They're like, who's coming? Let's just say it's cyber yellow. But then when it actually goes to
one of them, I
was
like, really? Cyber? Like, what's wrong with it? I'm like, you don't feel like an asshole just saying that out loud? But anyway, the Pirelli tires are connected to the suspension. So when the tire detects a hit, it softens the shock, which is the coolest connected tires technology that I've seen on a road car.
That's pretty cool. I mean, I guess because previous cars, the sensors were in the shock. It's all detecting wheel movement, right?
Yeah.
So I guess it's just getting that closer to the actual
impact
itself.
This is detecting the change in pressure, the rapid change in pressure from an impact.
That's cool.
So
it's just quicker, I'm sure.
It's just faster, yeah.
All right.
So downside is you actually can't just use any tire. You know what I mean? If for this system to work, you have to use these.
I've had so many problems with TPMS in so many different cars. I've driven new cars where they just have errors. I don't know. I mean, it's nice to have when they're working fine, but when they go out, I've just had them removed.
Hoopty157, if you can take any car or technology to drop into the past, say 1950, so it could be reverse engineered to progress current car technology, what would it be? Okay, so go back in time with the patents, schematics, and ideas of a technology from today.
Right. And just say, hey, put this in your cars.
Start with this. I mean, I would say, like, tough one.
So it's hard because there's so many performance things.
Yeah.
But, I mean, if we want to be good people, we'd have to go with safety. We'd be like, safety glass.
Yeah.
Start that before it was invented so people don't get stabbed in the face.
Right.
Or like
the second
crumples
collision.
Or airbags or something. But then you would have all these awesome-looking steering wheels from the 50s.
You could say,
I'll go direct injection.
Okay.
Because I think direct injection has done an amazing job of more power, better emissions, more efficient. And so if you drop that in the 50s, by the 60s, imagine how fast the muscle cars would be. And then if you turbocharge or supercharge them, everything, we would have 2,000 horsepower now.
Probably, yeah. I mean, I would say like electronic engine management. I mean, now that's a very complicated thing that maybe would require a lot of other ancillary technologies, right?
Well, you need to drop the computer chip further back.
Yeah.
Because this all comes from the transistor, right?
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
really came out of World War II.
Yeah.
So it's all that evolution. But if you jump that forward, imagine like the space race and everything.
Yeah.
Everything would be totally different.
Yeah. Side note, my girlfriend's best friend plays Toretto in the Fast and Furious musical. Fast and Furious musical.
Amazing.
Still one of the best fucking theater productions I have ever seen.
Absolutely.
And when they rewrote the ending and came back with it, it actually got
It was much
substantially better.
Yeah.
Yeah. All-wheel drive biased. In a little over a week, I'll be heading to California, but ending up in Palm Springs. What should I do as an automotive enthusiast in Palm Springs? That's a tough one because there's not a lot. I mean, there's a couple great roads. Like if you have access to a nice car or any kind of fun car, going up the 74 heading south out of Palm Springs is an unbelievably good drive. But other than that, as a car Palm Springs is not necessarily a car enthusiast
It's more
town.
it's a car touring town. Like you could go up that highway, you could go to Joshua Tree, and that's it. So you could rent, if you want to rent something on Turo, maybe you can, but it's like a cruise around thing. It's a sightseeing, not a fast driving.
Yeah. And there's
Idlewild, you can go up there.
Yeah, I mean, there's places you can go around Palm Springs that are nice drives, but there's nothing like in Palm Springs that's like car culture.
They might have a car. I bet they have a car show. There's a used
There's
car
probably
dealership
like
there with
a cars
muscle
and
cars
cars
and shit. So
Yeah,
there's something.
Yeah, but not much.
Not much.
But it's nice. Bring your golf clubs. Doug Levy is in the market for a new daily. Must be an SUV under $75K. What's the most comfortable one you've driven? Could be electric. I want comfort, efficiency, and space. Doesn't have to be fast. Okay, so the question is, starting question is, do you want electric or gas?
Mm-hmm. If you want electric, Mach-E Rally.
Mach-E Rally
rides
would be great. Yeah.
And
and has great
the
seats.
price point. The seats were good.
The seats are really good.
So right there.
If you want gas, I would say, depending on how much space you need, if you want gas, comfortable, maybe MDX, Acura MDX or RDX, great seats. I mean, the mid-level German and Japanese stuff is sort of neither here nor there. Like I don't care about a regular X3 or a regular X5 or a GLC 350. Like we don't drive that stuff.
We just don't drive them, but I think they'll probably be more comfortable than, we had the X3 Comp, or X3 M Comp, and that was really stiff and uncomfortable. Performance car, sure, but he doesn't need that because Doug has a 991.
Well, if you can, comfort, miles per gallon, and space. How about a Macan T? Doesn't have to be fast.
Yeah, that's
a Macan T does feel like a real Porsche.
Yeah,
handles great, good seats, very fuel efficient because it's the 2-liter 4-cylinder. You can get a tune on it if you care.
You know what still ride really nice? Escalades.
I mean, yeah, but
they do.
They're enormous. They're not efficient.
Oh,
they're very. Right. Yeah, that's not
true.
Not great.
If you want MPGs, there's no good turbo diesels anymore.
No,
right?
They're all dead.
Yeah.
I mean, there's I don't love the Audi e-tron stuff that much, unless you happen to love Audi's like interfaces. They're pretty good. But SQ5?
Yeah, I think you're in the price point's good. I mean, you can get a lot of car, you can get a lot of SUV from any of the Germans. It's pretty good. Yeah. But definitely go drive like the RDX or MDX. The Type S we had, I think, was $74,000.
Yeah,
and it had amazing seats and it was roomy. And I think it got like 23 miles per gallon or something. But yeah, there's a lot of good options at that price.
Yeah. Also, you could get. Well, I haven't tried it yet. But I was yesterday. Someone was raving about the Explorer ST. how great the Explorer ST was, which maybe we should try one.
All right. I haven't driven one of those in a long time.
Also, comfortable. I don't know about efficiency, but 75 will get you a Defender. And they're more like Range Rovers than they are like Wranglers.
That's true.
Defender 110s are very comfortable cars to drive.
That's true.
Yeah. West Side Collector cat storage. I have a brand new 86 and I want to keep the new car smell. Am I a lunatic for putting my food from takeout places in a sealed tote? I mean...
I've never had food smell linger.
I've never had food smell long enough to the new car smell goes away on its own. It's the plastics and shit off-gassing.
Yeah. And
eventually they stop doing that.
Right, and then you can just get a freshener that's new car smell and bring that off-gassing back.
I don't think your food is going to... My concern about the sealed tote is if you have hot food, the humidity will make everything soggy from the steam, which you don't want that.
That's a good point.
Don't ruin your fucking lunch for the sake of the car.
Well, because if there's items that are separate from the hot stuff, then they will also get steam.
Unless you're like straight up driving Uber Eats in this car, in which case, like, you may get overwhelming.
Yeah, windows down a lot. I think it's windows down, put a jacket on.
Yeah. I would be more concerned about the heat, the seal in the sealed tote keeping humidity in and possibly fucking up your food. But, yeah.
Well, you have to just make sure you're only, like people that deliver pizza, they have the sealed thing, but it's because the whole item needs to stay warm. But let's say you're driving home and you have a salad and you've got an entree, and now the warmth of the entree is transferring to the salad and melting the lettuce. Like, that's not good. Yeah.
P.S. What would you say is a good price for ceramic coating? There's very different ceramic coatings, but what drives what we do here at WCCS when people ask us, we use Ammo Reflex, of course, but it's not the coating itself. Like, the coating is like $1,000 for cars and like $1,200 for SUVs. But it's not the coating. It's you have to do a full detail first, because whatever's on the car, you're sealing in there with the coating. So to get the most of the coating, you want to do like a pretty thorough paint correction. And so almost every ceramic coat or reflex that we do here follows a full paint correction. Wow. And we have Derek Bemis, who is Mr. McGuire's, and it's fucking expensive. So it's like, it's anywhere from $1,500 to $2,500 for the full paint correction, depending on how fucked it is and how long it takes, and then another, $1,000 for the ceramic. So you could buy ceramic coating at like AutoZone and detail it yourself and put it on, and you can buy Ammo Reflex from Larry, and he has some great instructional videos, and you could do all of that yourself and save the money, but it's a lot of labor. So it's really about what level of crazy do you want to go on the car before you do the coating. It's like
so many things that are aesthetic. It's like the prep work is so important. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Bad Gardener. I'm an affluent but unwise car enthusiast. I'm looking to build a 3-car garage. I have a $40K budget per car with a $100K credit limit per car for maintenance. All right.
What? So you're going to buy a car for $40,000 and have
his credit, the credit limit, if he's got to go into it to fix the car, he can rack up $100K in credit card debt.
Those are interesting numbers.
So he's got $120,000.
Oh, this man's ready for an air-cooled experience.
Yeah, you are.
Buy a $40,000 air-cooled and spend $100, doing the top-end rebuild.
100%. Yeah. Yeah, $40K, you could buy a bunch of air-cooled shit that is 1,000 miles away from needing major services.
Yeah, and then do all the major services.
Yeah. Like, you might even be able to find like a 993 for $40K that is ready for a $30,000 service, The problem is, I wouldn't get 3 cars with a $40K budget per car.
And then spend $100 on each one?
That's not the math I would do. If I had $120K for fun cars and a $100K credit line for just in case, I'd buy 1 car for $100, have $20K cash for upfront things, because you're buying this car, it's going to need something. $20K in hand to fix what the fuck ever, new tires, fresh service, full detail with ceramic coating. And then I wouldn't touch my fucking credit card. And I'd have one fun car. And I think if that's your budget, I wouldn't be going for 3 cars. I mean, this may be car fantasy game, but
if you were going to do 3 cars, I would do an air-cooled. I would do
Alpha GTV.
A truck of some kind. Ooh, that's a good idea.
Alpha GTV is the best car to have a $100K credit limit on a $40,000
because that's the art piece, right? And then the Porsche is like the somewhat reliable blue chip.
Yeah.
And then you could get like an old Bronco build that's very simple, not...
$40K. That might buy you a VIN number today. I don't know if
really?
that's buying you much more than that. $40K, though, could get you a great Jeep or a great...
I mean, you could get any number of hot rods if you're into that stuff.
I mean, you want a daily... You can get the best Turbo R Bentley in the world.
What about an NSX?
$40K will get you a shitty NSX.
There you go. Get a shitty NSX and put some money into it.
Yeah.
I like this.
Yeah. Zach has the clap man. Kind of funny. What are the scariest moments you've ever had in an automobile?
I think I'll go with I think the dumbest thing I ever did in a car, I was driving back from snowboarding with my friend Drew in the car, and I had my 97 Jetta, and it was a 2-lane highway. It's highway, was it 8 in Colorado? But, there's a lot of trucks on it. They go slowly, and I was 20 and stupid, and I passed a semi-truck on the outside of a big right-hand sweeper. It was dotted yellow, but my visibility was like, this was not a good idea. And I'm passing this truck, and I'm trying to pass a second truck, and coming around the corner is another semi. And so I am next to truck number 2, and I just had to go like hard brake, peripheral vision, and just drop into the gap. And we were very quiet in the car. But the reason so that was scary because like we could have died, and it was totally my fault. And then we get to a stoplight at the far end of this highway. We're finally backing down. We get to a stoplight, and one of the doors on one of the trucks opens, and trucker gets out of truck and just stands on the ground and points at me for a full minute, or what felt like a full minute. He just stares and points, and it's like he's just saying everything I've thought. The light's red, nothing's moving, and he's just pointing at me. And the light turns green, he gets back in the truck. And I was horrified, and I was so apologetic to Drew. Like, it was so stupid and so dangerous. But I think that was the worst moment I've had in a car.
Yeah.
Don't do that, kids.
Yeah. Let's see. I mean, there's like been a couple near misses, which I think is pretty much what you've just described there, which are scary for like a second. But then I've had a couple, I talked about it a million times, but my ride along in the Valkyrie was probably the most sustained scared that I've been in a car, where I went, I'd like this to be over now. And it's hard for that.
What lap time did you guys run? Remind me.
118 at Laguna, which is 10 seconds faster than a Senna, which is my body can't compute that very well. So that was probably it. Paolo Pizzucchi, the used car market, especially at the low end, is completely hosed in 2024. What car would you pick for a Lemons build with the current used market optimizing for can actually finish the race? I mean, I don't know what it would take to get to $500 exactly, but like the best car to finish a Lemons race is like a Japanese sedan from the 2000s, the Civic or a Corolla or something like that, where you can just lap and lap and lap and lap and lap and it won't fucking...
Yeah, that's true.
I mean
Miatas do really well.
Yeah. Something light, but Miatas are not—they're not like used car market cars.
That's true.
You know what I mean? That's an enthusiast car, and like the people looking for those, like that's outside of the regular economy.
Civics do well, Corollas do well. Yeah. And I think when we did it, it was a regular Civic, not an SI, because then it had the simpler single lever.
Yeah, the non-VTEC head.
So it's
the VTEC heads don't hold up.
Yeah.
So yeah, you want like a Civic DX or EX. All right, Prashan says, I got beat up on the B line, which is unfortunate. I'm sorry to hear that. And the cop told me, never take the train in L.A. I don't know about that, but I've been told to not take the B line. How do you feel about the train? The cop said the bus is fine. So I'm going to unpack this a little bit. One, I'm sorry that happened to you. That sucks. I hope you're okay. Two, don't trust the cops in L.A. Cops in L.A. are not good. They're not good at their jobs, and by and large, they're not great people. And it's also important to understand that a cop's anecdotal evidence is not the same as like data. And if you want to say, is something generally safe or unsafe, I'm sure there's data that will tell you that. I mean, maybe the data says that a crazy amount of violence happens on trains and it is actually unsafe. And maybe the data says that that's not the case. And I don't know. I don't have it in front of me. But if something happens, humans have a tendency where if something bad happens to them or something bad happens to someone they know, they then extrapolate that.
Right. That is the norm of the world.
My mom got mugged in Times Square, so I'll never go to Times Square. Well, as it turns out, like, bad things do happen, but the fact that this happened to someone that's close to you does not necessarily mean that the overall situation is unsafe. You know what I mean? Humans are really, really bad at that. They do it all the time.
Yeah, I think it's a protection mechanism where like, oh, something bad happened over here, I'm not going to go there anymore. Yeah. Which makes sense. I think from what the officer said about the buses are a contained unit.
Yeah, with a driver.
With a driver. So there's a person observing all the time. I mean, there's cameras on the trains, I think, but if like the way the trains stop, it would be easy to get on and off, and there are not officers on the trains, and there's not officers at all the stops, depending on the hours in Los Angeles. So I think it's easier for someone to commit a crime on a train and then jump off. And I'm just speaking like logistically as a criminal, whereas the bus, the driver observes it. The driver could lock the door or call for backup. And they're also more exposed. The bus is out in the world where a police officer could drive up very quickly. Whereas if you're at a train station and there's no police officer and the train's leaving, like it's just more complicated.
Yeah. So I mean, in general, whether it's New York or L.A. or whatever, I see crazier stuff on trains than I see in other methods of public transportation.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I don't know. Maybe if there is data on it, we can look it up later. But I think having a healthy public transit system that includes both buses and trains is very, very important to our city.
Of course, yeah, for sure.
And any city.
Yeah.
I'm reading Fighting Traffic right now, and it's absolutely infuriating.
Does it make you happy when you put it down?
It's absolutely infuriating. Tim A. says, what luxury lifted station wagon would you choose as a daily driver? The E-Class all-terrain, A6 all-road Volvo, or Taycan Cross Turismo? Asking specifically about the ICE cars. I don't fucking know. I've never driven any of them other than the Taycan.
I mean, speaking of anecdotal.
Oh, no, I drove the Volvo. It was whatever.
Our friend Derek had an all-road, a new one. He's had two. He had the last gen for like years. Loved it, durable, towed his track car. Then he got the new one, and it I think it threw error codes just trying to do minor off-roading. Again, anecdotal. But
yeah, these aren't for off-roading.
No, but it was like just trying to do crossover-y things with it. I don't know. I liked the all-road before. I remember it was the first car I ever drove that had adjustable height suspension. Yeah. And I was like, ooh, this is very cool.
Yeah, no, the original all-road was cool as shit. The one with the S4 motor and a manual, it was pretty cool.
Yeah, very cool.
Extraordinarily expensive to keep running.
Yes. All of them probably are.
I mean, I know Doug really liked his E-Class. None of these are truly all-terrain. They're just good in the city where there's bumpy roads.
Or snow.
Or snow, yes, or snow. But tires would make more. I mean, an all-wheel drive E-Class on snow tires and an E-Class all-terrain.
Well, I'm sorry. I was speaking of ride height. So if the ride height is different,
it's like an inch or something. It's not a lot. I mean, what differentiates them? I mean, just the same thing that differentiates their base models, really. as far as I know. I don't think any of those cars have some sort of advanced off-road technology that's unique to them. I think they just ride a little higher and have cladding.
Yeah, I don't know enough about them to specify which one I like. I would like whichever one has the closest thing to full-time all-wheel drive.
Yeah.
That's what I would want.
Alex Brown, new $10 homie, thank you very much. And fellow cat dad, also, thank you very much. Looking to get a new Nissan Z. Which edition should I get? Spirited weekend drives, occasional trip with the wife, no track days, would like to modify it. I'm 6'4", 280. Will I fit? Nismo's average 58 to 60K. Performance seems to hover in the low to mid 40s. The big question is, do you want a manual transmission? If you do, you want a performance because that's the best one you can get with a manual transmission. If you want an automatic, spend the money on the Nismo because it is actually, you can feel the difference every time you drive it. The Nismo, it drives me insane that car didn't come with a stick. And maybe they'll do it next year or later this year or something. But everything about the Nismo is better than the performance. Everything. Just doesn't come with a stick, which drives me nuts. Oh my God. Kyle says, a few months ago I asked you for some car buying advice. This is why we shouldn't give car buying advice. Look at this. Looking at an F-Type V8 or maybe an Aston V8 Roadster. Well, I bought a 2016 Alpha 4C Spider instead. That's crazy. That's crazy. Looking at these V8 powered front engine, rear drive cars that are objectively good cars. Asked us about it, back and forth, and then goes out and buys
the heart wants what
clearly
it wants.
a passion purchase for an objectively bad car. 4Cs are bad cars.
However, I have heard you say on multiple occasions, one of these moments was very recently, that the 4C will eventually be a classic because people will forget how bad they are.
Yeah.
Maybe Kyle has already forgotten or didn't know how bad they are.
Yeah, maybe.
Because they do look cool.
Yeah.
They sound fun.
Yeah.
They're kind of interesting.
Yeah.
The driving performance of them is definitely subpar compared to how they look and what we expected.
Yeah, it's not good.
Compared to like an F-Type or even an Aston. But, okay. I hope you like it.
I mean, I hope you like it. I don't want Kyle to not like his car.
I hope you like the heavy steering and the slow shifting and the noise with the lack of power.
What is the Venn diagram of people? The Venn diagram of people who want paddle shifters and manual steering. Who is that customer? That's crazy.
Yeah, I want feedback, but not too much.
Yeah.
Don't give me too many notes.
Same.
God,
I hated those cars.
I mean, I liked them. I had fun when we had a white press car for a while, and I thought it was a nice thing to bump around in. But
bump is the right word.
It is noisy inside.
That's the right word for sure.
It's like stripped out, which is kind of fun.
But then it's still heavy.
And
carbon tub, but then somehow still heavy.
Yeah, I think. Yeah.
Not great.
Kyle, get an alignment if it hasn't been done. That was a common problem with those cars.
Yeah, they would align them at the factory and then strap them down on cargo ships, and they'd end up with
the alignment,
and they just pull them off the boat and sell them.
Yep, that was the issue.
I don't know what Chappie's question means. Do you?
With the Ferrari F80 powertrain, did that make the turbo?
Oh, God damn it! The Ferrari F80. People keep writing F80, and I keep just seeing M3s.
BMW.
Yeah.
Well, that's because the BMW is about as good as a Tourbillon, as a Bugatti. I understand. I understand where you're coming from.
I didn't understand. I haven't programmed F80 in my head as being a Ferrari yet. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Does that make a Bugatti Tourbillon price look almost reasonable? I don't know necessarily the exact prices, but I can say that I would rather have a Tourbillon than I would a Ferrari F80 for sure.
Yeah, I think they're after the same market, but the cars are different. I mean, the Ferrari is going to try to be the ultimate track car, hypercar, and I think the Bugatti, for the last two cars, it's a touring car. It's going to be the fastest thing in a straight line, but it's more about the touring experience.
Yeah. Ivan says, what dead engines would be a success if brought back? For enthusiasts, not $1 million ones. I think you've got, let's see, 2JZ.
Oh, yeah.
The Skyline engine, the RB
rotary
range.
a small contingent would
a small
lose
but
their
very
mind.
dedicated group of people would buy rotary engines.
Yes.
Sure.
Dead engines.
Air-cooled. I mean, an air-cooled Porsche. If Porsche themselves found a way to sell an air-cooled car,
right,
which is
Porsche
not really possible
would go nuts
with today's emissions regs and whatever, but they would definitely sell a lot of them.
Well, the Hellcat motor's dead in the TRX, right? If they brought that back,
Hellcat motor's dead in
TRX
all
is
of
getting
them. I think it's dead across the board. Let's see. Ferrari doing a naturally aspirated V8 or V12.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, they're doing the V12, but a naturally aspirated V8.
That would melt faces.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be great. And then, Lamborghini, if they brought back V10s. But I think the small displacement V8 and the Ferrari would have more impact because the Lamborghini is still making tons of power and the V8's good and they sell the V12. I think it seems like Ferrari has lost more from them.
Yeah. And I think if Ford could find a way to make the Voodoo engine work more reliably and have fewer sort of warranty issues, then that would probably be a good one. Mm-hmm. Last one. Chris N is going to Europe for a few weeks and wants recommendations. Where to go? Where would you suggest going on vacation? I mean, Europe is big. Obviously,
Ukraine,
I have much Spain experience. And dude, I got yesterday invited to the GT3 launch. Spain, January.
Cool.
Spain.
Yeah.
Back to fucking Spain.
Awesome.
No complaints, but like, Jesus, they're really milking Spain.
They are.
I mean,
there was a couple years ago that all the launches were Portugal.
Yeah.
A lot of them were in Portugal.
Yeah.
So they find the track and it's cheap or whatever.
I think Spain is more convenient to fly to than Portugal.
Yes.
Yeah. Portugal was great, though. Porsche was doing Portugal for a while. Mm-hmm. Yeah. We have a theory that someone in Porsche has a fucking Gumar down in somewhere.
And
it's wherever the Gumar is that moment, that's where we're going.
That's funny.
But like, so there's, for places to go, I wouldn't necessarily go to Europe looking for car shit. I mean, you'll find it no matter what. But like, my favorite places in Europe are pretty much anywhere in Italy.
Yeah.
Particularly the Tuscany to Amalfi Coast corridor.
But also like Stelvio Pass area.
Well, yeah, I was going to say Switzerland, the Switzerland-Italy border.
Mountains, oh, my God.
Yeah, the Alps, unbelievable.
Yeah.
Absolutely unbelievable. Amsterdam is one of the greatest places you could ever go in your life. The city is incredible. As an opposite, like Amsterdam has basically banned cars from the city center, and I recommend all car enthusiasts go see that because even if you love cars, to be in the middle of that city and not hear cars. You hear birds. You hear people fucking talking. Like, the amount of quiet.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Well, it's good to get exposed to something else, and that's the best exposure to to the opposite of cars.
Yeah.
Right.
South of France, sure.
Oh, yeah.
Nice is exceptional. If you want to eat.
Paris, of course, is Paris.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
Do you love Paris? Have you been?
It's just amazing, like to see it. It's a
I
beautiful
get that.
city. The food's incredible. All that. It's like if you're passing through.
Yeah.
Because I think Nice is nice at the right season, but at the wrong season,
summer.
It's very quiet. Oh, summer in Nice will be packed.
Summer in Nice will be sick.
Don't go to Monaco.
If you want a road trip, Nathan from Audi just did this. You go from Nice. He didn't road trip it. He flew, but he regretted not road tripping. Go from Nice to Barcelona. You're basically driving along the coast of the Med the whole way. You go right through San Sebastian. Mm-hmm. You know, you're getting the Europe's best food on that whole corridor. With apologies to Italy, maybe start in Italy and go up. Oh, you could start in Italy and then just do the whole northern coast of the Med.
Yeah,
Italy to fucking Monaco to Nice to San Sebastian to Barcelona. That would be a hell of a road trip.
Croatia also.
Croatia.
South.
Never been,
Monaco,
but I'd like to go.
Oh, you can just pass through that in a day. Or like
it's a one day. It's a one dayer. Yeah, one day.
You'll get a $30 salad that won't be great. That's what I did there.
Yeah.
And then you'll go, wow, this is expensive. We should leave. And you will.
Yeah, pretty much. But it's worth seeing once.
It's worth seeing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then if you really want to be a boss, Scandinavia. I mean, you go the other way. You could do Amsterdam, Copenhagen, and southern Sweden.
Yeah, it's
which
gorgeous.
Is unbelievable.
So stunning.
Yeah.
Depends on what kind of thing you want to do.
Yeah.
And Germany, if you want to go on the Autobahn and drink a beer.
That's not the same time. Autobahn, then beer.
Yeah.
Yes. All right. Thanks, everybody. Please join the Patreon. We really appreciate it. Get your question read on the show. Ads go away at the Patreon.
Ad free. Some of the shows you get earlier than the public. If you are a pro or champion tier, you will get them on your audio player, not just on YouTube, but you'll get them the day we record them, whereas other people might have to wait a week or two.
And how does that work?
What do you mean?
I guess they subscribe to a separate feed if you're a pro driver. I don't know how the mechanics of that work.
When you subscribe, you get an email, a welcome email, and it sends you a feed, and you plug that into your podcast player of choice almost. If you have a super obscure one, there was like a problem with Podbean. I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but there are small players that basically the team abandons the app.
Yeah.
And people are like, how come it doesn't work anymore? I'm like, I'm sorry. It works on 15 apps, but not this one.
Yeah. Okay. So it's just like the regular feed, except you get shows early and they don't have ads in them.
Yeah, I get it on my Apple podcast player.
Yeah. So please do that and support your favorite show. It does add to the listening or viewing experience. You have a separate feed for YouTube as well, and it also will keep us going through this whatever thing we're dealing with is right now. If you're not listening live, if you're listening a regular time, the Audi RS3 review I did from Spain, that's a street and track drive review, will be up. Really neat. I guess we could have talked about it today because the embargo is off, but I guess that'll have to wait till next show. Go watch the video and then bring your questions to the Patreon and we can talk about the RS3 next show. And Blackwing embargo is November 19th. We also have, what else do we have in the can? We've got C63, Mach-E Rally,
Panamera
Turbo S. And then on Wednesday of next
Alpha
week.
Julia Quad.
Yeah, wow. On Wednesday of next week, we're going to be filming. We got the GR Corolla with the automatic now. That might be just a short video. I mean, it's a video on a transmission, ultimately, right? We've already done so much GR Corolla content. I could probably do that one in an Instagram post, but given the demographic of what people like to watch, it's probably worth making a very short video. And we also have the Cayenne Turbo Hybrid non-S. I haven't figured out if this is worth filming yet. We have to do. I mean, I don't know. I don't. The last Turbo S E-Hybrid Cayenne video that I made didn't do great, but the Turbo GT did.
But that was an extreme vehicle, and we drove it, and we're like, there was a lot of holy shit moments. This won't have that.
This is a regular car.
Yeah, this is a very
fast.
nice car.
Yeah.
That is kind of fast.
Okay. Well, shout out to Tactile Turn for our new pen collab. This will be shared with the Patreon as soon as we have the links to buy it in the next week or so. There will be 100 of these. That's what we're doing. 100. They're not individually numbered, but it is only 100. All right. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you next time. Bye.